And hello, my friends. It's been about 7 months, so I apologize about the span between the videos, but we are going to pick up right back where we left off with stats, building characters, 3.0, 3.5, feats, equipment, the full deal, just as I promised. I apologize about the delay. There was some stuff going on with my personal life, but, that's neither here nor there. So let's go ahead and crack a monster, light a cigarette, and go through the basics. I'm going to turn the page around here, or rather the camera around, so that you can be able to look at the page, and we'll go through the paperwork together. Let me start off by closing that, because that's going to get a little crazy out there. So, as we discussed, feats, while improved initiative is nice, there needs to be other choices of feats. So, what I've done is I've whittled it down to the master list. Sometimes your DM will have one of these, sometimes they won't. So let's take a look at our first character here that we're building together. So the first character that we're building, really as an example, is a Drow Bard. So as you can take a look here, you can see that this is kind of beyond the normal list of feats. So, one of the things that I had mentioned in past videos was thinking ahead when you set up feats. So a lot of that comes into play with things like if you take exotic weapons proficiency and then weapons focus, or you go 2-weapon fighting, or you choose, one of the other feats that have a follow-up behind it. So, as you can see here, this is quite an extensive list, It has kind of been set up for a good example of just about everything that I, as a DM, could put into an NPC, which, not putting it past a PC, these are all things that are available to PCs as well. So, like I was talking about, 2-weapon fighting is a good example. If you have 2-weapon fighting, improved 2-weapon fighting, building up to things like twin sword style, 2-weapon pounce, 2-weapon rend, so which would allow you to basically sit there with 2-weapon pounce. You would be able to attack somebody like you're a panther or something with 2 weapons. Same thing with rend. It'd be like the same example of being hit by an animal that has claw damage. Usually they're able to rend a target with 2 successful hits. So, as we're looking through the list, there's not a lot here that you could think of that, you would want to give a Drow Bard. So sometimes, no matter what, your basic feats that come out of the player's handbook are a good option. So right now, because there's nothing else built for him or her, it might be a time to wait. So, which gets into the second part, which is building the rest of the stats for a character. So we'll take a blank piece of paper here, and as I live dangerously, and as aforementioned, cracking that monster. So, of course, a lot of times, you're going to want to do this a lot bigger. Some people are these type of people. That's okay. You're saying, wait, height, weight, I've never heard of these things. Or that word before. You all know what that means. How fast a character can move. Hit points. Armor class. Armor class always starts at 10. We're going to leave a big, huge blank space here. Sometimes when you fill out a pre-generated character sheet, you don't have to do it this way. But because I like explaining it, we're going to do it longhand. You know. Oh, let's go back to the other way here so we can just follow along, because I don't want you to lose anything when we flip the camera around, because it's just, yeah, we're using a cell phone. Yay! Technology! So, AC. We'll take a look back into some of my other cheat sheets here. So, we are building a bard. So, this is an NPC cheat sheet that I use for a lot of my different campaigns. So, we're going to go ahead and go HPAC. We'll leave a space. Base attack bonus. We'll explain why we leave a space here, because we're going to go and explain what goes into the AC. Try not to flip that camera on you all while trying to still comfortably write. So yeah, bear with me here. So then we're going to go melee, which is your hand-to-hand combat using weapons. Your ranged, so let's see, and then we also throw in where do I want to throw it in at? I'll throw it in all the way over here at the end. That is for your initiation. So, all your basic stuff. So you notice right now that I'm writing weapon 1, weapon 2, and weapon 3. We'll get to why I'm writing 3 weapon types. Then, because remember, this character is a drow, we're going to write drow racial bonuses. You could also substitute it with the word traits. So once again, we're going to tuck into the oh my godness of what is the notebook system. So, we're going to be looking under non-racial hit dice. So here we go. For my campaign world, male drows don't suffer any of the regular negatives. So, consequently, all drow. Oh, you know, we forgot to include, but we will include that down here once we're done. So we'll start off with dark vision, 120 feet. Let's see, spell-like abilities per day. Let's see, these says these are once per day, as I previously noted. Dancing lights. That's fairy fire. If you notice me misspelling anything, just ignore it. Cast is a spellcaster. We'll say sorcerer. Okay, so that part is taken care of. So then, we need to also note that Drow get a +2 racial bonus. On listen and spot. To detect secret doors. So let's see, then we will also go into, let's see, we'll say this Drow has been on the surface, so we won't include the light blind. You know what? No, because that is a feat that we'll enforce for this character. Light blindness. We won't write it out because we will come up with something special for that, because there is a feat from Forgotten Realms that will let a Drow be able to see in the dark, or see in regular sunlight. Thank you, R.A. Salvatore, for including that in your Drizzle to Haven books. And then, as always, +2 will versus spells. Spell-like abilities. Immunity to sleep spells. And enchantment. Effects. Okay, so now, the part that I said that I had forgotten. So, but those 6 spaces, that we can fill in now because we already have that information. So, we'll switch over to pencil here because we will have to erase and, correct a few things as we go, unfortunately. $17, 13, 14. So then we use the stats that we have. +2 to Dex, which makes that a 15. -2 to Con, which makes that a 10. I don't know if this was already done. If it's already been done, then I'm dumbing down a character. If not, oh well. Be interesting. So, there we go. So there's his stats. So then we also need to go back in and using back to our cheat sheet rather than using the book, because we're trying to save desk space here as we build this character together. Excuse me a moment here. You may hear a cat crying in the distance. She's doing that for attention. She is not actually in any danger or anything. She's just unusual. Gonna set you down here a moment. It's gonna go black. Don't worry, I'm still with you. Dun, 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 dun. We're experiencing technical difficulties at this moment in time. Please bear with us. Dun, dun, dun. Da 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 da. Okay, so, as we were saying before technical difficulties took over, so, for a bard, that is 6 hit dice. So, what I do as DM, and what some people may make you do, is they may make you roll that 6. Usually at first level, if I remember the rules correctly, we're going to take that maximum hit dice. So we're going to fill that in. Now, one of the other things that comes up as you're building a character is what's known as the modifiers. So, let's talk about modifiers here as we are getting ready to build onto this character. I think I have, once again, another small little cheat sheet put together. Ah, here we go. Here's a cheat sheet. So, our drow has a +1 strength modifier because of the 12. And we'll as we're laying out skills, we'll also discuss what this means. So, if you feel like you're lost, don't be lost yet. Just sit back, continue sipping, and just watch. So, we have a 10. That is a big fat 0, unfortunately. We have a 19, which is a +4 modifier. 13 is a +1. Charisma 14, which is a +2. So, the modifiers are never added into that lower set of numbers. Okay? This isn't some complex kind of version of math or anything. Don't worry that you're gonna be lost, because right now we're gonna fill into the next section. So those crafts or those skills for a bard, and we'll make it easier on ourselves here, so in case we ever have to come back to this as a reference. So we have a praise, balance. Now keep in mind that this is for a blend of 3.0, 3.5. You could probably even be able to use like the original Pathfinder system with what I'm doing, or with the knowledge that you may be absorbing at this point in time. So as I'm writing the skills out, so what the modifiers do is the modifiers are going to play into these skills. So your modifiers, combined with how many points that you actually pour into these skills, are going to determine, when you roll that d20, what does this character get, plus this, plus this, plus this, plus that. So, unfortunately, we chose one of the classes that has, like, the longest list to do first. So, when you look into, like, the DMG and stuff, the Dungeon Master's Guide, and it has a list of NPCs, a lot of game systems basically boil this down to as little as possible where they specialize in NPC to basically fit a story that they're going to play into. Now, as a character, you don't know where your story is going to take you, but perhaps you already have a story in your head, which is always a good idea. So this character is a bard. We will say that, we'll use my latest campaign, and we'll say that this drow bard is some kind of self-exile. You know, maybe he's finally made his way to the surface. Or perhaps he was drug along as part of a raiding party, and he decided that he was going to escape into the sunlight, so that he would not have to follow the orders of the Priestess of Loth. So therefore, that's why he is on the surface. So, as you see, I'm talking and still continue writing out the skills, so you kind of have to excuse me if I go quiet on you. I do want you to be entertained while you're watching this, but I also want you to be able to kind of pick up the art form that is behind building a character. I say art form because in some ways you're crafting another being. So you kind of have to put some forethought into it. You know, this isn't just a piece of paper. I mean, if you sit down to craft this much time into a piece of paper, you know, you want to kind of be able to use it. So we've come to the end of the list. So for a bard, appraise, which, you know, can tell you the value of an item which you're wanting to sell or steal. Balance, you know, that goes without explanation. Bluff, which is your ability to basically lie to people. Climb, self-explanatory. Concentration, that comes into your spell casting. Craft, that is, you know, again, self-explanatory. There's lots of crafts that you can be able to do to be able to earn a little extra coin. Decipher script is basically being able to read something that may be hidden in a code of some kind. Perhaps it's a way that the grammar's set up or something. Diplomacy, self-explanatory. Disguise, escape artist, gather information, hide, listen, move silently, perform, profession, sense motive, sleight of hand, spellcraft, swim, tumble, and use magic device. So, okay. So we've gone ahead and set up the skills. So, let's roll back over here to the cheat sheet. So, as a bard, the skills are set as 6 plus the intelligence modifier. This is where the modifier comes in handy. Or this is where your modifier comes into it first. So 6 plus 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 times 4 is 44. Or excuse me, it's 40. Is it 40? No, it is 40. You know what? I don't trust my brain. You people probably at home already know the answer, but I don't trust myself. Some reason I'm thinking that it's 44 when I know that it's 40. Just want to avoid one of those moments. So it is 40 as I first thought without having my weird brain flash of 44. Don't know why that popped into my head. So, okay. We have our skills laid out. So now that we have the skills laid out, and we have our number of skill points, we need to go back and take care of one other thing. So appraise is based off your intelligence. So we're going to write a 4 above that. Balance is based off your dexterity. Bluff is based off your charisma. As you see here, I am writing the modifier from each one of these numbers. Climb is based off strength. Concentration is based off, unfortunately, your constitution. Don't really understand it, but that's the way it's made. Craft is based off your intelligence. Decipher script is the same thing. Diplomacy is off your charisma. Disguise is off of your charisma as well. Escape artist is based off your dexterity. Gather information is based off, I want to say, your charisma without looking at the sheet. That is correct. Hide is based off your dexterity. Listen is based off your wisdom. I was right on that as well. Move silently is off of the dexterity. Perform is based off the charisma. Profession, I believe, is... Let's take a look at the cheat sheet there. Wisdom. Sense motive is also off of wisdom, I believe. It is. Sleight of hand is based off dexterity, which is a 2. Spellcraft is based off your intelligence. Swim, strength. Tumble, dexterity, of course. Use magic device is charisma. So, as you've seen as I'm talking here, I have written out the numbers. So then, let's fill in some of the other weirdness. So, listen, we get a +2 racial, so we'll put a +2 R next to it. We also get one to spot, but spot is not a class skill for me, so that's not going to go on the sheet. I don't feel like writing it in. I don't feel like taking ranks in it. So let's see. So now we're going to spread out the 40 points. So he's been on the road for a while. He's had to steal. Let's see. He's had to decipher writing from things that he has stolen or picked up out of people's pockets. He's had to negotiate with people. He has had to disguise being a dark elf. So let's see, that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17, 18. No, wait, sorry, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, 17. Let's see, he has also had to escape capture a number of times. $22. Just make a note of that. He has also had to gather information from people and be friendly. So we'll give him 3 ranks in that. He's had to hide, of course. 3 more. 3, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. He has had to eavesdrop on people, of course, but being an elf, it also helps. He has had to sneak past people. 32, 33, 34, 35. 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. So we're gonna ration that back down. Let's see, what else could we steal a point or two from? Sorry as I'm silent here. Okay, so that is 40 points. So we'll erase that part, and now we'll do the math. 4, 5, 6. That, of course, becomes a 4. So what we're doing now, at this point, is now we're taking this number and then adding it into the amount of skill points that we have spent. So again, I apologize during the silence. So we didn't spend anything in craft. And we didn't define what he or she is able to craft. Sorry if I'm a little fast here. I'm just trying to make sure we're able to really spend out the most points here. Oh, I erased my modifiers. Didn't mean to do that. Never know when you might need to know what your modifier is, so I never recommend erasing it. So as you can see here, we have, in a matter of moments, we have built out a character. So which will come to our next part. Oh, I just erased my modifier again. I'm going under the assumption that I'll never have to change this. But I may end up using some of these characters for future projects. You guys will see how stats and stuff come into effect. So, okay. So we've gone ahead and we have filled out all our skills. So there's really, you know, it's going to be okay rolls. You know, you get okay modifiers to okay rolls. You know, it's nothing crazy. So then we would go into like the whole explanation of feats. So for this character to be able to make them be able to operate as a PC and really to get rid of that annoying problem with lights, we're going to take their first feat as being daylight adaptation. That is from the Forgotten Realms book, or rather core book. And then, as always, every class starts off with their feats. So, in addition, he or she, excuse me, simple weapons proficiency, and light armor proficiency. So, as you can see, we have taken care of that. Now, we need to get on to the most important part. So, starting gold for a bard is 4d4 times 10. So, let's see here. Do I happen to have 4d4s on the desk? I do. We're going to go ahead and roll. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. 12 times 10, 120. So then I will go ahead and, using once again one of my cheat sheets, we've gone ahead and written down basic equipment. So what you'll notice in these columns is this is what your maximum dexterity bonus can be wearing that armor. This is your armor check penalty to anything involving dexterity. This, if you're a spellcaster, divine or arcane, this is every time you cast a spell, you're going to have to roll for whether or not your spell will fail. So for this one, we are going to take leather scale. Let's see. So as we come over here to the sheet, we'll also write +3 scale. And then at this time, we will also add your dexterity modifier. So which means without anything else, this character's dexterity is AC is 15. His initiative without any feat is 2, is rather +2. Base attack bonus as a first level bard. Do we have that written down? No, but I know that it is probably 0. So we're just going to go under the assumption that it's 0. If you see it change in another video where we show him, I apologize. Or if you take the time to actually look in the book. You know, so it would be +1 melee, +2 ranged. So, we've gone ahead and taken care of the feat, the money, and now we've gotten into the equipment. So, we have figured out an armor. I believe that I have a weapons cheat sheet as well. So, this list is a little bit more crazier than it needs to be, unfortunately. So, we will go ahead and go. Let's see. Rapier. I'll fill in the damage and stuff later. So that's going to take care of slashing and piercing. Then you'll need something to be able to take care of another type of damage, which is bludgeoning. So we are going to give him a... Oh man, do I not have one listed? I thought I had one listed. I guess that I don't. We're gonna write it down as a light mace. And then you need a ranged weapon. So for a ranged weapon, we're going to do a short bow. Or rather, we're going to do a composite short bow. So since we didn't have everything written out, we're going to pull out the player's handbook. So, what did we go with? We went with a rapier. A rapier is indeed 1d6. So, you'll roll the 1d6 when you go to do your damage. And then, when you roll to attack, if you roll a 20... Nope, I'm sorry, for a rapier. If you roll an 18 or 20, you do double damage. Or depending on your house rules, you may have to re-roll. I said that did slashing and piercing, and it only does slashing. So, Let's see, the rapier is negative 20 gold pieces. The armor, the leather scale, I believe it was, that's negative 35. Getting a nice rainstorm here currently, so even with the background noise, still a pretty nice ambiance here. So which leaves us with 65 gold pieces left to spend. So that bow may end up changing. Because let's go over here and take a look. Oh yeah, he can't afford a composite longbow. Or a composite short bow, because that's 75. So that becomes just a normal short bow. Which leaves 35 gold pieces. Now, we've gone ahead and taken this feat, right? But there's equipment out there that would let this character be able to sit there and go through the sun. So since we have 35 gold pieces, and we may want to take a look and change it around, let's go into ungodly expensive electronic downloads of what's in the files. My desk is a little bit of a mess. It's because it has not been really used for this purpose of making a video in a little while, so bear with me here. So let's see, we are going to go into page 67, if I am correct. If we can get the computer to cooperate with us. Okay, so that's page 67. Let's see, donning armor, other equipment. No, I don't see it here, so which means that it might have been back in Sandstorm. So if you can't see what I'm basically doing, I'm just flicking through books here. This was a rule setting for deserts, if you have never seen it, for 3.0. So we are going to go down to equipment. So, page 99. Oh, really? You're going to be one of these type of books? So we'll flicker through pages here until I get to the right page. So what I'm looking for right now, with that last 35 gold, in case we've kind of lost track of it, is a magic item that, or it's not even really, I don't even think it really qualifies as a magic item. I think it's just an item that would let the drow character basically go out to the sunlight without having to take any real negatives. Let's see here. Parasol, sun lenses. Sun lenses. Let's go back here. Gear. Sun lenses are 10 gold pieces. So take a look at this. So we'll go ahead. Take the bottle of white out. Please excuse me while I set you down for a moment. If you black out, don't freak out. So, we've gone ahead and taken that, and we've whited that out. So we said that it was called sun lenses. Well, right, that is from Sandstorm. So there we go. So I've gone ahead and, you know, just like if I was a player, I wrote where this piece of equipment came from. So then let's go back here. We're going to close this. Well, we won't close it up, but we will go back into our feat notes. So now that we no longer have daylight adaptation and we have a magic item that can take care of it, kind of thinking of, you know, what we could be able to spend that feat on. Because as I explained, you know, improved initiative is nice, but, you know, who knows? Let's see here. So, you know, one of the feats that I saw here that could be, you know, a taker's strong mind, you know, they have a wisdom score of 13. Prerequisite is 11. It'd get a +3 against psionic abilities and mind blast. So, you know, being a drow in the Underdark, you know, the underground portion of civilization, you know, may have ran into mind flayers before. So, let's see here. So I'm just kind of quiet here again as we're looking through feats here. So, I mean, you know, there we go. We could take mind over body. There we go. That's what we'll take. So we'll take mind over body. And what that does is that will let this character use their intelligence modifier instead of their constitution modifier for HP. See, this is what I was talking about when you can't just rush into choosing a feat. You know, yeah, you could get that +4 to, you know, combat every turn. But you might be screwing yourself in some other way, such in this case, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Look at that. 10 HP. There's not a lot of bards that are running around with 10 HP. So, at this point, we've got it down to 25 gold piece. So a 25 gold piece, you also have to remember that you need to buy clothes for your character. So going once again to that same section in the book that covers equipment, and lo and behold, I was able to do it in the first turn of the pages. So I try to set everything across everything else here. So we need to choose clothes. So we're going to say explorer's outfit. These are with 15 gold pieces. Then we need to think, do we need equipment? Is he a city dweller? So he needs at least a backpack. Down to 13 gold pieces. Let's see, what else might we need? Never know when you might need some caltropes. That's 1 gold piece. caltrops so you can be able to drop them behind yourself. You never know when you'll need a flask. Let's see. If a flask is 3 copper pieces... Okay, yeah, I think I did that right. Because 1 gold piece is worth... Oh my god. Okay, I might have to figure that out, but for now, we'll go with that's right. If it's not, you'll see it changed in another video, and I'll go back and explain it. So, for all intents and purposes, we're going to stop here with this character having spent just little over almost all their gold. They have 11 gold pieces left, 93 copper. I'm not sure if that 93 copper is right. I'll take a look after I'm done with the video. I think I've wasted enough time with you, you know, just dragging it out in the process so you can see it go hand in hand as to how a character is created. You know, I might do a couple more of these and we'll run a test game session so that you can be able to hear me rolling, and I'll be able to explain the roles, and it will just be me playing Dungeons & Dragons by myself. So there you go. You've seen a character be built from stats all the way to the ending product.